Let's start with something you've probably never been told, but deep down always suspected. Nature doesn't reward morality, it rewards survival. It's a brutal truth we often ignore. You can be kind, selfless, virtuous, and still be outrun by someone ruthless. Evolution isn't a fairy tale where the good guys automatically win.
Charles Darwin's theory of natural selection exposed a stark truth. In evolution, success is measured solely by reproductive survival. There are no moral points awarded for fairness, no punishments dealt for cruelty, only the cold arithmetic of outcomes. If a trait improves the chances of survival and reproduction, nature keeps it. Whether that trait is compassion or ruthless indifference. Think about that. The lion doesn't care about being noble when it hunts the gazelle. The gazelle isn't sacrificing itself for a greater good. It's simply trying to escape. In the wild, survival is the only currency. Morality, as we understand it, simply isn't part of the equation. Picture a pride of lions on the African savanna. A new male takes over, roaring his dominance. What's his first act? He kills the cubs sired by the previous male. Horrific? Yes. But in doing so, he brings the lionesses back into heat so he can father his own offspring. In evolutionary terms, this infanticide is chillingly effective. Nature is replete with such examples. A parasitic wasp that paralyzes a caterpillar and lays eggs inside, so its larvae can eat the host alive from within. These strategies are ghastly to our moral sense, yet they persist because they are evolutionarily successful. Now, we humans tell ourselves we're different. We have morality, compassion, law. We believe in fairness and altruism. But strip away the trappings of civilization. Imagine a desperate situation, a famine, a war, and watch how quickly the primal law of survival resurfaces. The truth is, the same natural forces that shaped those lions and cuckoos shaped us too. Evolution didn't stop at our humanity. It carved our instincts, our desires, even the dark facets of our psychology. There's a reason we all carry a shadow inside. The capacity for selfishness, aggression, deceit. We inherited the potential to be ruthless because, at some point, those traits kept our ancestors alive. This leads to a confronting possibility. What if the traits we call disturbing aren't flaws, but adaptations? Take the psychopath, for example. We describe them as damaged, defective, devoid of morality. But strip away the labels, and psychopathy becomes a cocktail of traits. Fearless dominance, manipulative charm, emotional detachment. In a brutal, competitive world, that doesn't sound broken. It sounds built to win. Psychopathy might have an evolutionary purpose. But research in evolutionary psychology hints exactly that. Psychopathic traits, such as the willingness to exploit others and a lack of empathy, may have persisted in the gene pool because, in certain environments, they gave people an edge. If a man with no conscience has more children than a man who is kind but cautious, guess whose genes spread? Studies have found links between these dark traits and reproductive success. Individuals high in psychopathic traits often pursue a fast life strategy. They seek many partners and move on quickly. Biologically, more partners can mean more offspring. They may not stick around to nurture, but in harsh conditions, spreading your genes widely might beat raising one family slowly. Think of a primitive tribe in famine or conflict. Who might rise to the top? Perhaps the one who isn't weighed down by pity, who can make brutal decisions to secure resources. The fearless hunter who takes risks for rewards while others hesitate. In dire straits, the gene for guiltless aggression could mean the difference between life and death. lineage, or oblivion. Even today, a psychopath feels no fear in a high-stakes gamble. He might bet everything on a bold move and win what the timid never reach for. He can lie with convincing ease, getting others to trust him, only to betray that trust for personal gain. It's the lion's strategy in human terms. Strike, take, and move on. Consider the trait of charm. A charming psychopath can imitate empathy perfectly, saying exactly what someone wants to hear. They can seduce and inspire with words, appearing supportive or loving while feeling nothing. Evolution allows such deception because it works. The charmer gets what they want: resources, protection, sex, without giving genuine care in return. Now think about fear, or rather, the lack of it. Psychopaths are famously fearless. Imagine the advantage that gives. Fear keeps most of us in check. The fearless individual will run into the burning building, will confront an armed enemy, will dare the dangerous path. Sometimes, that's the person who survives when others freeze. And then there's cold strategy, the ability to manipulate and calculate without emotion. This trait makes someone a chess master in life, always a few moves ahead. They can betray allies, break promises, exploit the weak, whatever it takes to come out on top. In a purely Darwinian sense, that makes them formidable. Put these traits together: charm, fearlessness, cunning, and you have a human predator. Not the kind that stalks in the jungle, but one that walks among us in the office, on dating apps, in the halls of power. They look like everyone else, but they play a different game. They are living, breathing examples of evolution's uncaring calculus. Whatever lets them win, they will use. Now, you might be thinking of people you've met, bosses you've had, lovers who hurt you, those who used you and felt nothing. It's chilling, isn't it? Yet, society often rewards them. The charismatic coworker who takes credit for others' work and still gets promoted. The lover who lies and manipulates, yet moves on unscathed. You've seen it, and it never feels fair. We even have phrases for these people. Wolves in sheep's clothing, snakes in suits. They draw you in with a smile and a handshake while hiding predatory intent. They climb social ladders by stepping on whoever's beneath. And disturbingly, they often succeed. We find them in boardrooms, government offices, anywhere power and money are at stake. Consider the corporate world, a civilized arena on the surface, but scratch it and you find a jungle. Studies suggest 1 in 5 corporate leaders is effectively a psychopath. The corner office can be as predatory as the savannah. Their battleground is psychological. Corporate takeovers instead of turf wars, character assassination instead of killing. These sharks in suits flourish in today's world. In boardrooms and high-stakes negotiations, they remain unnervingly calm, predators gliding through still waters. When it's time to execute a merger or decide who gets cut, they eliminate jobs and shutter factories with surgical detachment. To them, it's strategy, logical, efficient. But for those on the losing side, it feels like ruin. Watch how such a leader operates in a crisis. While others worry, hesitate, or hope to minimize harm, the psychopath sees only opportunity. A crisis, market crash, or public panic is just another chance to eliminate competitors and seize control. They don't freeze in fear or drown in empathy. They act. It makes you wonder, have we left the jungle or just recreated it in another form? The power plays unfold on conference calls and campaign trails. Instead of claws and teeth, it's contracts and laws, manipulation of public opinion, ruthless ambition. The predators adapt to the environment, but the underlying dynamic remains. The ruthless often rise. It implies that our cherished morality might be little more than a fragile surface, something we can afford only in times of stability. We praise empathy and kindness as virtues, but when pressure mounts, those who discard them often come out ahead. In the harsh calculus of survival, the traits we label good don't always prevail. We know cooperation and kindness are the glue of society. No family or community could function without them. Yet we see how easily the selfish and cruel exploit that very glue for their own gain. It's a painful paradox. Society depends on goodness, but too often it's the heartless who walk away with the reward. So where does that leave us as feeling human beings who want to believe in justice and goodness? It's an emotional contradiction. On one hand, we know cooperation and kindness are the glue of society. No family or community could function if everyone were selfish and cruel. On the other hand, we see how easily the selfish exploit the trust of the good. How many times in your life have you done the right thing and felt punished for it? Helped someone only to have them take advantage of you? Played fair by the rules only to watch a cheater walk away with the prize? It leaves a bitter taste. You start to question, is goodness really rewarded, or have we been lied to? The world can break the hearts of the gentle. It can drive the honest into despair when they see liars triumph. And here is the cruel paradox. Our society could not survive without trust and empathy. Yet it often fails to protect the trusting and empathetic from predators in our midst. It's like a fortress with an open gate. The very openness that makes a community strong can also be its vulnerability. Evolutionary theory even has a concept for this. Cheater strategies in a cooperative system. If most people follow the rules, the one who cheats can exploit the system and thrive until they're caught. Nature seems to allow this dark balance. Many cooperators, a few exploiters. It's a disturbing thought that empathy might be an evolutionary luxury, something we value only because conditions allow it. We cherish it when enough people play fair, when survival isn't under threat. But when the stakes rise, when everything's on the line, that luxury is often the first to vanish. And yet, empathy is also one of our greatest strengths. It has enabled us to form bonds, to work in teams, to build societies where we take care of the sick, protect the weak, and cooperate for incredible achievements. Psychopaths can thrive in a stable society, but they could never build one. The chaos they'd create would consume them if others weren't upholding civility. So we live in a tension between two forces, the ruthless and the righteous, the predator and the protector. This tension is in our history and in each of us. We are descendants of both the warriors and the peacemakers, the tyrants and saints. Both approaches helped us survive. Does morality have a place in evolution? Yes, it does. Kindness and cooperation are evolutionary strategies too. They helped our ancestors band together and raise children and fend off predators together. But here's the key. Morality is conditional in the eyes of evolution. It thrives when it increases our chances to survive and reproduce. And it falters when it doesn't. That is the cold equation. Empathy is favored when it's useful and pruned away when it's not. Picture a field of flowers. In times of plenty, the bright flowers, our higher virtues, flourish. But let an ice age or drought hit, only the toughest thorny plants survive. Our empathy is like those flowers, beautiful but fragile under brute necessity. This might leave you feeling pessimistic. Are we doomed to be either victims or villains in life's ruthless game? But pause and consider. Understanding this truth is not a condemnation. It's a liberation. It frees you from false expectations. You stop assuming the world is fair, and you start seeing it clearly, jungle and all. When you see clearly, you can move smarter. If you know sharks swim beneath the surface, you won't be caught off guard when one circles. You can protect yourself. You can make better choices. When to trust, when to be skeptical, when to cooperate, when to stand firm. Knowledge of the psychopath advantage arms you with a kind of X-ray vision. Yes, you could use this truth to become more ruthless yourself. But there's another path. Use it to guard your empathy intelligently. Be kind but not naive. Help others, but also watch for those who would weaponize your help against you. The power here is choice. Evolution may have wired us with potential for both empathy and ruthlessness, but we are not slaves to those instincts. We can choose who to be. The whole point of understanding our nature is to transcend the parts of it we don't want to accept. You can acknowledge the predator inside you without letting it control you. Think of heroes you admire in real life. The teacher who stands up to a cruel system, the activist who risks comfort and safety for others' rights. These people are not naive. They are aware of the darkness, yet they choose to be the light. That's the subtle empowerment in all this. The recognition that understanding brutality is itself a form of strength. You don't have to like the dark side of human nature, but if you acknowledge it, you can navigate around it. You can predict it, counter it, maybe even harness pieces of it when absolutely necessary to protect what you love. It's like walking through a dark forest at night. If you know there are wolves about, you carry a torch and a spear. The darkness doesn't disappear, but you are prepared. In the same way, knowing that evolution favors the ruthless means you walk through life alert. You keep your integrity, but you stay ready to defend it. We have explored a disquieting truth. The ruthless often have an advantage etched by the hand of evolution. Let that truth unsettle you. It's meant to. But also let it sharpen you. Let it carve away illusions and leave you with clear vision. Because with clear vision, you can make better choices for yourself and for society. Imagine a mirror that shows the human soul. In it, you see two figures standing behind your reflection. On one side, a cold-eyed predator. On the other, a compassionate guardian. Both live within us. Evolution bred the predator for survival and the guardian for community. Which one dominates? The one you feed. This knowledge is dark, but it gives you the power to choose which side of yourself to feed. Nature may favor the ruthless, but we can defy that nature. We are more than puppets of our genes. We can choose a higher path and decide to elevate empathy anyway. Now that you see the game for what it is, how will you play? Will you be the shark that thrives in bloodied waters? Or the wise dolphin that survives by intelligence and cooperation? Aware of the sharks, but not defeated by them. Understanding the rules means you can strategize and choose your own path. Some might feel disturbed, even defeated hearing all this. But you need not. Feel awakened. The world hasn't changed. You've simply peeled back a layer and seen the machinery underneath. That sight can be frightening, yes, but it can also be empowering, because now you know. If goodness is to triumph, it won't be by accident, but by conscious, determined effort. Remember, every time humanity has advanced morally, ending slavery, expanding rights, helping the weak, it wasn't because our biology changed, but because we decided to fight our darker impulses. We overrode the selfish programming, at least for a while, and chose empathy. That choice is always there, in each moment, for each person. In the grand scheme, evolution doesn't care if we're good or bad, only that we survive. But we care. Survival alone isn't enough for us. We seek meaning. That's our rebellion against nature's indifference, saying that life should be about more than just living. Empathy might be an evolutionary luxury, but for us it's part of what makes life worth living. Now you see the full picture. What is the true cost of human success? Is it measured by how much empathy we sacrifice or how much we preserve? Evolution won't answer that. If you're disturbed, you're thinking, and that's good. Let this uncomfortable truth be a form of power, guiding you through a beautiful yet brutal world and helping you preserve your humanity. Or consider the cuckoo bird, a master of parasitic exploitation. The cuckoo lays her egg in another bird's nest, tricking a different species into raising her chick. When the cuckoo chick hatches, it heaves the other eggs out of the nest, murdering its foster siblings. The young cuckoo then monopolizes the food and care of its deceived foster parents. Ruthless, but it works.